In this video, I'm going to be doing a book review, book list type thing of all the Wicca, pagan, New Age books that I have. And it's pretty much just how I felt that they worked for me, how they read. Pretty much just give you a little review of how I thought of them. And I also have two different type of categories. I have some books that I haven't read, and I have some that I have read. So if you guys have seen any of my videos on my previous channel, I've actually done a book review before on some of these books. So if you've seen my other channel, this might be a little bit of a repeat at the beginning, but the second part will be all newer things and stuff that I haven't read. But yeah, so I'm going to start with the ones that I have read, and to get that out of the way, I'm going to do my best to not butcher the authors' names. If I know them all, but if I don't know them, I'm just going to hold it up so you can read it. I don't want to butcher them. So, yeah, and I'm going to give you price points for what I bought them for. It'll be in Canadian dollars, so you'll have to kind of adjust from there, because you know I am in Canada. But I have 8 books that I'm going to cover right now that I have read or skimmed through, and give you my opinion. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the one that I pretty much just skimmed through. I haven't really gotten into this type of magic yet. So I'm trying to get into more type of divination style magic. And at the beginning of my practice, I thought, I had to have a crystal ball, I had to have a pendulum, I had to have the runes, I had to have tarot, I had to have oracle, I had to have them all. So I have them all, but I don't know how to use any of them. So what I did when I got my runes was I invested in a book about runes. So this one is A Practical Guide to the Runes by Lisa Pichel. Pichel, I think that's how it's said. And it's pretty much just goes through, shows you how to make your own runes, how you can use them as charms and amulets and all that kind of stuff to help with your protection. And then it goes into a example of each rune and tells you what they stand for and what they symbolize. It gives you the flow on all of them. So that's how it works. But yeah, got cute little layout things in here, how to make your own little pouches. Yeah. Pretty much all I've done with this book so far is I've copied out the runes for further reference. I haven't really done much yet. I have skimmed through it, but like I said, I haven't really gotten into runes yet, so once I do get into runes, I'll read it further. But from first glance and just skimming through it and reading the little bit that I did read in this, it seems pretty good, so I would recommend it. The value on this one is $7.95 Canadian, and it is I figure out the page count for you. Without the appendixes in the back, it's 161 pages. It's not bad though. It's little print, but not that bad. And then it has an appendix of the alphabets that you can use. So what rune corresponds to what letter. If you hear meowing in the background, that would be one of my kitty cats. Polar! They're having a weird morning today. I don't know. They've lost it. This is my second time trying to make this video because my other cat decided she was going to try and eat my burning incense. But yeah, so then it gives you easy runes that you can, easy rune reference guide. So if you're looking for money, protection, new beginnings, victory, luck, fertility, and it gives you that. It gives you a color appendix, so that if you're doing making your own runes and you're using like clay or something like that, you can choose a color that's appropriate to the meaning that you're looking for. So like I said, protection was one, so you could use trying to read the reference guide here. Now let's go for an easy one. You could do love, and you'd pick this symbol, okay, and then for love you would pick red. Well, this one's saying sexual love, but that's the only love that they have on here. But it gives you a corresponding color to go ahead and do it. So yeah, pretty good little book. I like it. Next one, you've seen it. I've already mentioned it in a previous video for today when I did my Austera video. And yeah, but doing a book review, so wha-bam! The Wiccan Year. It's a book about the Wiccan Wheel of the Year. So this one's by Judy Ann Nocht, and it has spells, rituals, holiday celebrations, meditations, recipes that you can do for each Sabbath. I know when I did my Austera video, I didn't mention the recipe that's in here because I want to do it, so I figured I would film it and tell you guys about it then. So that would be something that I could post tomorrow or on Austera whenever I post this video. But yeah, it's a really cool little thing. It gives you some rituals that you can do. Like I said, meditations. It gives you a background on everything, kind of the whereabout dates and where everything falls. As I showed in my last video, I'm a little bit proactive and tabby off everything. Not to go into too much detail with this one, but I always have it open to the upcoming Sabbath and have it sitting on my altar just so I can always reference it. Not sure if I have told you guys, but in the back of this one, there's also an appendix on these ones, and it has table of correspondence, so it has a symbol, a direction, element, and event that has to do with every Sabbath. So for Austera, you have the egg is a symbol, direction is east, element is air, and event is growth. So for events, you have like harvest, decline, culmination. Hi, pumpkin. Rebirth, death, all that kind of stuff. So that's what that means. It also has zodiac correspondences, solstice and equinox is when they fall for the year. What's the matter? See what I mean? They're crazy today. So pretty much that's the same day for like the winter solstice, the vernal equinox, and everything like that. Just depending on how the year falls, it pretty much fluctuates one day or the other on either side. And then it has astronomical Sabbats. So it's got the sun position and the constellation. So for Austera, which is the one coming up, it's 0 degrees for the sun position, and the constellation is Aries. Are you going to say hi? Say hello. I want some attention. But yeah, so this is a really good book. Always reference it. The dollar value on this one is $16 Canadian. And the page count, not including the appendix, is 239 pages. And at the end of that, it's before the appendix, it's got like stuff about the lunar phases and everything like that. So it's really cool about the Isbats. And yeah, love this one. Recommend it. It's always good to have a reference guide for that type of thing. Next, you guys have seen this one, which is Spell a Day Almanac. That is your author. I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not going to say it. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. Spell a day. That gives you the color, gives you an incense that you can do for the day, and a ritual or a spell or some kind of activity to do magically for that day. This one I spent $13 on, and it is 255 pages. Some pages only they have like 2 days, whereas it is a spell a day, so there is 365 days in here, but it's They have smaller pages and smaller days. Moving right along is, actually I'll just do this one because it's the same as that one. So this one is my Witch's Almanac from last year, but it's a little bit different. This one is a almanac for contemporary living, and it's actually like a bunch of different essays and stuff like that, to invoke thought, articles and that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is the one from last year, and I think I am going to start doing getting an almanac for every year, and I think when I go back for 2015, I'm going to get another one kind of like this one. It was a bit more in my ballpark as to what I was looking for. Same author. This one was also $13, and this one is, with all the tables and stuff in the back, 281 pages. So that's really, that one I like that one. The next one is one that I confiscated from my mother. Actually borrowed it and never gave it back. Well, that's okay because she wouldn't actually use it for the reason I use it. But my mom went through this thing where we would always get her candles for her birthday and everything like that, and she decided that we were going to get aromatherapy oils and blah, 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 blah. And she got this book because she figured that she would become an expert on it, and then she never looked at it. So I took it. On here it's got $9 is the price. I'm guessing that would be in Canadian. And it is called Aromatherapy for Everyone. Discover the sense of health and happiness with essential oils. Okay. And this one is by P.J. Pearson and Mary Shipley. And it's just a really cute little book. This one is 121 pages. And each page is dedicated to a specific herb that they cover. And it goes over the aromatherapy properties of it, of the essential oils of that herb. So, to give you an example, here's myrrh. Gives you a little fun fact. So, according to Greek mythology, Aphrodite transformed Myrrha, the daughter of the king of Cyprus, into a shrub as punishment for sexual deviancy. Don't piss off Aphrodite, man. She turns you into a shrub. Anyways, and it gives you a little bit of a historical background on where it's mentioned. So in here it mentions that it's in the Bible. It comes up in ancient Egyptian. It's used as an herb. Blah, 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 blah. Therapeutic uses. You can use it for appetite, anger, asthma, athlete's foot, bed sores, boils, bronchitis. There's a whole long list of it. That's this one here. Then it has essential oil applications, so how you can use the essential oil to help those different types of things. So, for example, to restore appetite and calm the digestive system, use 2 to 3 drops in a diffuser or steam inhaler. It can also be added to a carrier oil and massaged on abdomen. So just things like that. And then in the middle of the book, it has color pictures of what they look like. And since we talked about myrrh, that's what myrrh looks like. But yeah, it's a really cool little book, and it kind of makes you aware of what you could use the essential oils for. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just put it in a sachet, or oh, whatever. This one tells you what else you can do with it, and you can reference it and not have to go to like a doctor or anything like that, and it works. So, good book. Buy it. Or find some kind of reference like this one. If you ever want me to, I could do an essential oil a week, and I can go week by week and pick them, like just go in order in the book here and tell you what some of its uses are, and then you can reference it. So maybe I'll do that. Okay, so there's that one. And then the next one is by Raven Grimacy. This is the 2nd edition, revised and expanded. It's the Encyclopedia of Wicca and Witchcraft, which is this thing. This book is huge. This is a $33 book. And I think I got it on sale, but for some reason I'm thinking I might have actually paid full price for it. but it's literally just a giant encyclopedia of pretty much anything you can think of that you might want to know in witchcraft. So it is a grand total of 487 pages without the appendix and the bibliography and everything like that in the back. It's got in the first appendix, it's got like the Witch's Creed, the Witch's Chant, Invocation of the Horn God, the Wiccan Rede. And then in the actual part here, you guys have seen me reference this in my tools video, but you just pick a thing and you switch to it. It has influential people from many ages. It's got different gods. The gods, though, are pretty basic. They're more like Celtic and Roman type gods. They don't have a very big pantheon selection in here. There are some things that are missing, but I mean, it's kind of like a very good, like, broad but basic type of thing. But yeah, so it's got whatever you could think of in here. Pretty cool. Pictures and diagrams in some spots. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's this one. It's a good little reference. So if you're like, what the heck does, if you forget that what fire corresponds and means and whatever, you just flip through, find F, find fire, and read up on it, and it's all good. Pretty good. I haven't read like fully through this because I'm not going to sit there and read through a dictionary / encyclopedia, but yeah, I reference it from time to time. The next one I have read, and it's a good beginning style book. If you are starting out and you're looking for a broad thing, but the only problem is you have to remember with a book that goes over very basic stuff and basic knowledge that what they say doesn't particularly go. It's not the concrete thing of what you have to do. But anyways, it's called Wicca for Life by Raymond Buckland. It's The Way of the Craft from Birth to Summerland. This book my wife bought me in the States, and it doesn't tell me how much it cost. I want to say it was like $20, but I can't remember for sure. Anyway, so yeah, this book, it's just a good learning for beginners type thing. So it goes over there's lots of stuff here. I'll read the contents, table of contents, to let you know what is witchcraft, how to become a witch, initiation, the beginning, witchcraft in the family, witchcraft and birth, witchcraft with siblings, what is magic, witchcraft for romance, magic, office, school, home, plants and pets, in the bedroom, just stuff like that. I mean, it's a good way to get a beginning basis and a beginning idea of what you can look at and what you might want to research and stuff like that, but definitely take what he says with a grain of salt when it comes to concrete things like, oh, with an altar you have to have it set up like this, and you know, an athame has to be this with this color hilt and this color blah blah blah. Like, you take it with a grain of salt, because those things, remember, the whole thing about this is, you know, doing what you feel is right for you. So if you know, you're more into sea witchery, your athame might have a mermaid or a fish on the hilt. It might have a picture. My athame, while I'm talking about it, as you've seen in my other videos, definitely is not. It's supposed to be silver with a black handle. Mine is gold with multicolored wood handle. So it's up to your discretion, so take that part with a grain of salt. Very good book, though. I love Raymond Buckland's books and Scott Cunningham, but they both, you have to take what they say with a grain of salt. So this one's a pretty good book. This one is, including the appendix and the index, it's 342 pages. So that's that one. And I pretty much think any of us have seen this one, and I'm going to start doing the Year in a Day program here with a group on Facebook and YouTube, which is pretty cool. I don't know how good I'm going to be able to get into it, though, because I don't have the funds in order to pay for a lot of the supplies that it asks for, but I can still, you know, read and maybe think about what it's asking you to do rather than actually doing the stuff. But anyways, It is Wicca Year in a Day. So it's 366 Days of Spiritual Practice in the Craft of the Wise. And this is by Timothy Roderick. And that's just it. It's doing what olden days was considered to be going in and beginning the path. 366 days of study and just working your butt off. That is this book. I paid for this one $30 Canadian. You can get it cheaper on like Kindle and stuff now and all that kind of stuff. And it is 378 pages long. And then I have it all tabbed off here because those are shopping lists of stuff that you will need for the next 30 days type of thing. So it's really cool. But yeah, I will, once this starts, I can post a link on my Facebook page, my Snowflowers Facebook page, to the YouTube channel where we'll be doing this if you want to go ahead and go through it. That'll be pretty cool for you. So those are all the books I have read. The Wicca Year in a Day, I've skimmed through it, which you're not supposed to do technically. You're supposed to actually do it and not skim through it, but what you're going to do is slap me on the hand and not tell me I'm not a witch, like really. But yeah, so the next book is one that my wife and I are currently reading, or are trying to get back into currently reading, which is kind of like the Wicca for Life by Raymond Buckland. This one is by Scott Cunningham, and it's Wicca, a Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. So we have 2 copies of it, so my wife can have one and I can have one, and we can kind of do like a book study type thing. They're $14. This one is first edition, so it's $1 cheaper. It's for $14, and this one is the newer edition, which is $15. But it's the same thing. It's going over what you're beginning, what like things you can start looking at. So it has theory, so Wicca and shamanism, the deities, magic, tools, gestures, days of power, self-dedication, ritual design, so it tells you how to make your own rituals, the Sabbats, symbols and signs, spells and magic, an herbal grimoire. So that's this one, and it is 213 pages. That's including the appendix. So that's that one. We're going through it. It's a little bit different, and it takes time to get into, right? Because I'm used to reading books where it's like, yeah, it's a story and whatever. So it's hard. It's kind of like reading a textbook almost. You have to be willing and committed to do it. And again, this is one you're going to want to take with a grain of salt. So yeah, Scott Cunningham. Another one from Scott Cunningham, which I'm guessing is the next book in the series, quote unquote, to the one that I just mentioned, is Living Wicca: A Further Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. And again, it's by Scott Cunningham, and it's just a continuation of how you can put some of what he says in the Wicca Guide for Solitary Practitioner into everyday living. So how to go about telling people that you're Wicca, how you shouldn't let anybody know your Wiccan name, like your magical name, because that's something that you and the god and the goddess should share, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how this one goes. This one is $20. So it's not bad. Again, you gotta take some of it with a grain of salt, because a lot of people are like, oh, don't tell people that you're a witch. It's something that needs to be kept secret because of the whole witch trial thing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. And then the next 4 books I'm going to go through really quickly because I have not read them and I'm going to be reading them. The first one is kind of like the other ones, where it's just a basic beginning. It's a good way to get you into the craft. Is To Ride a Silver Broomstick by Silver Ravenwolf. So this is my wife's book, so it's got a little bit of a Eaton front cover. But it's got a Canadian price on here, $21. So from my understanding, it's pretty much just a good way to give you an overview and basic information on what you might need when you're starting in the craft. So I'm looking forward to reading this. As you guys know, I watch some other YouTubers on YouTube here that say that this is the book that got them into the craft. So definitely going to be reading this. Crystal Clear. This is $9, so I'm guessing it's the United States price, so it's probably about $10 Canadian. Tells you how to clean a crystal, how to use a crystal, but it's pretty much just all for quartz crystal, I believe. So that's that one. This one is by Connie Church. This was a gift for my wife. I don't think she's read it either, so I'll give you a better idea of what this one's about if I read it. It just says, energize your body, mind, and spirit, develop your intuition, solve problems, resolve conflicts at home or in your job, empower your visualizations, boost your confidence. This is pretty much just a way of how you can use your crystal, like a quartz cluster, or just a clear crystal cluster, to in your everyday life to help you out and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. So there's that one. The next one I haven't read, but I very much recommend you have a book like it or a reference guide like it. And it's called Color Magic, Practical Color Magic, and it's by Raymond Buckland. So colors have just as much influence on what you do in your spell work as what your intention does. So, you know, if you have the intention of great, grand things, but you use a harsh color like black in a certain ritual, it can have a negative effect on it. So having a color guide or a color reference is very good, so that you're not putting a color in something that you don't want that intention enforced into your ritualistic practice. Okay, so having any kind of color reference guide is kind of supremo idea. So yeah, this is that one. Very simple. It gives you like astrology stuff, so what color corresponds to what planet. So if you want to have like say you're being divined over by a certain planet at the current time and you don't want something to clash with it, you would go ahead and figure that out. And then last but not least is one that I don't use, but my wife uses because she makes sachets and stuff like that, and bath salts for like sleeping and everything like that. And it is by Scott Cunningham, and it is The Complete Book of Incense, Oils, and Brews. So there's that one. This has a Canadian price of $24, but she only paid $15 for it. And it's pretty much just, that's it. It gives you herbal baths, it gives you tinctures you can make, inks, different herbal concoctions and mixtures, incense, ways to make oils for specific sabbats, and just it's a good little book. It's kind of like a grimoire if you didn't want to make your own, or didn't want to combine and, you know, get your own combination of herb spells and all that kind of stuff. And you have a good little reference guide, and it's good too because it does cover the basics, like I said, like sleeping and insomnia, calming down your nervous system, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool little book. But again, I haven't fully read it. I've just skimmed this one, but my wife uses it all the time. So that's that one. Alright, now that this is a 30-minute video, I apologize, but I hope that gives you an idea of books that you can bring into your practice that might help you. And just remember that no one book is right. You have to have multiple different books. It's just like no one view is right. Just like, you know, I have 4 or 3 different books that are all about the basic beginnings and what you should basically learn in the beginning, and they're all slightly different. They have some similar points and some different points, but they're all kind of have their own views on it. So remember just to take everything with a grain of salt, but it gives you a good basis on where you can start and where you can form your own opinion on what they say, and then it gives you a strong self feeling of how you feel in that spirituality. Okay, I hope this has been helpful, and I will probably post all the books and the authors down in the link below for you guys, but I'm not too sure. That's a long list, but I'll get probably to that. Any questions or comments or anything like that, leave them below. Please like and subscribe, and link to the Facebook page will be below. Maybe that's where I'll do the list of the authors and everything like that. Okay, bye guys, love ya.